Hello students, welcome back to Venkat Korla tutorials. In the previous video we discussed transportation of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Let's now discuss the chloride shift or hamburger phenomena. So what is chloride shift or hamburger phenomena? It's a process which occurs in cardiovascular system and refers to exchange of bicarbonate ions and chloride ions across the membrane of RBC. So it is a process which occurs in cardiovascular system, refers to exchange of bicarbonate ions and chloride ions across the membrane of RBC, is known as chloride shift. In the oxidation of food materials, the food materials are break down into carbon dioxide and water, and ATP is produced. Energy is produced in the form of ATP. This carbon dioxide from the tissues, this process occurs in the tissue cellular respiration. From the tissues, it diffuses into the blood vessel, and some amount of carbon dioxide is dissolved in plasma of the blood. The most of the carbon dioxide, or rest of the carbon dioxide, is diffused into red blood cells. This carbon dioxide is react with water and form carbonic acid in the presence of enzyme called carbonic anhydrase. This carbonic acid is highly unstable, hence it is breakdown or dissociation into H plus and HCO3 minus ions, H plus and bicarbonate ions, H plus and bicarbonate ions. This H plus ions concentration increase the concentration of H plus ions causes Bohr's effect. I mean, due to increasing of carbon dioxide hydrogen concentration, increasing the H plus ion concentration, it leads to continuous breakdown of oxyhemoglobin into H plus, hemoglobin and oxygen. Now this H plus, as I told you, it is happens in red blood cells. Now let us draw This H plus ions combines with hemoglobin and form HB. Oxyhemoglobin gives rise to hemoglobin and oxygen. These all things that happens in the membrane of RBC. And this is RBC thing. The membrane of RBC. Red blood cells. This is the plasma, and this is the blood vessel, that means a vein. These are the tissues. Enter into the tissues, which helps to meet the demand of oxygen to continuation of the oxidation process. These H plus ions combines with hemoglobin and form HHB. And in RBC, this oxyhemoglobin is dissociated into hemoglobin and oxygen. This oxygen fulfills the needs of demands of oxygen to continuation of the oxidation process. Now, bicarbonate ions. Now bicarbonate ions are diffused out. Bicarbonate ions move out HCO3. Bicarbonates are move out due to concentration into the plasma from RBC to plasma. And chloride ions from plasma is move in to the RBC. That means bicarbonate concentration bicarbonate content of RBC is much higher or greater than plasma. Hence, the movement of bicarbonate ions from RBC diffuse into plasma. So hence the movement of bicarbonate ions from RBC diffuse into the plasma. Changes the ionic balance between plasma and red blood cells. So bicarbonate content of RBC is much greater than the plasma, hence the movement of the bicarbonate ions from RBC diffuse into the plasma changes ionic balance between plasma and RBC. Now to restore the ionic balance, negative chloride ions from plasma diffuse into RBC, red blood cells. This movement of chloride ions, is known as chloride shift. Or hamburger phenomena. So to restore the ionic balance, the negative chloride ions from plasma diffuses into red blood cells. This movement of chloride ions is known as chloride shift. So when bicarbonate ion concentration is increases, then what happens? Ionic balance becomes ionic imbalance is raises. So it leads to what the bicarbonate ions move out of the RBC into the plasma. To restore these conditions to normal, so this chloride ions from the plasma is moved into, this is the plasma, and this is a vein, a blood vessel, vein. So into the RBC. So this phenomena of movement of the chloride ions from plasma to RBC is known as a chloride shift. It is also known as hamburger phenomena because the name of a scientist called Hamburger who studied at first this. So in honor of his name we call it as hamburger phenomena. I hope you all understand this. If you like this video, please share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.